Talking with Paul Ryan, lead attorney for Marcus Kaarma. The sentence came down today, 70 years and eligible for parole after 20. Is that pretty much what you expected?
It was. Actually the state had asked for more, and so, but it doesn't surprise us what the judge is. I think the judge was in a difficult position once the jury made their finding, and that's where he felt, was the appropriate sentence and consistent with the facts that he heard and the jury's verdict.
What are the feelings of Mr. Kaarma and of his mother and his family after they heard the sentence?
Again, they weren't surprised. We had prepared them that there would be a sentence similar to this. They're resilient in their desire to continue on with the appeal and get this looked at by the Montana Supreme Court. We believe there are substantial legal issues that need to be looked at by the Supreme Court that will hopefully allow Marcus some resolution that will be favorable to him. There's no question the family, I think you heard it in court today, feels terrible about Mr. Day and losing his life, and the family and their suffering, but that's not the issue here, and they didn't know who that person was. Now the jury's made their findings, but we feel it was under adverse legal conditions, and that's what a Supreme Court is for, to take a look at this more from a neutral, unbiased position without all the pressure that's been placed on everyone in this case within this community.
Is there a timeline as to when you'll file that appeal?
We'll file it in an appropriate time. There's lots to go through. We anticipate this is going to be over a year process to go through the entire appeal, and there's a number of legal issues that have to be looked at, and we'll take our time and do it appropriately according to the rules.
Should a change of venue come up with the Supreme Court, the judge made the point was this was a statewide story. How did you receive that?
I don't disagree that it was a statewide story. I think at times it was a nationwide story and often even international. That's not the point. The point is the pressure that was on community members here. For a jury to make a decision anything other than guilt, for them to go face their coworkers, their friends, their family, and try to explain why they came up with something other than guilt would be too much pressure on anybody. What we seek is an independent jury that's not going to be pressured, swayed, influenced by this constant community pressure where you have a tragedy that's so close. The further away you get from this situation, the easier and clearer it is, hopefully, to see in a rational way rather than with so much passion and emotion. We understand it. When there's a death, especially of a young person, there's always emotion. But it's hard. Think of anyone in their own personal life. When something happens to you individually that's close to you, you feel much greater emotional response and reaction to something that you're so close to, and that's exactly what we think happened here in Missoula.
So do you feel, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but do you feel justice was or was not served today?
Well, again, according to the sentence, I think that's consistent with these kind of charges. So as far as that goes, certainly. But as far as even getting to this point, I think that's where the justice was lacking. And what we asked was never that this be dismissed or anything else, but that we just receive a venue where we felt that was an equal playing field. And I don't think there's many people in this community can say that this was an actual fair, unbalanced or a balanced venue for this to be heard. There was so much public sentiment, and it was mostly in favor of the deceased, a young person, which we understand, and mostly against a man that had some difficulties coping in life the way that we all anticipate. And so there was so much pressure on everybody here and community sentiment that it just wasn't the right place. It's like having somebody that's already decided or emotionally charged about something make a decision. That's not what we want in the justice system. If you think in your own personal life, when you're upset about something or emotionally impacted, you're probably not the best person to be making the decision. We often do, but we're not the best person, versus a neutral person that can do it without the emotion, without the attachment to this community is all we really sought.